You've waited long enough. The perfect moment isn't coming. Your energy won't magically return. Your fear won't suddenly disappear. And yet, you still have a choice. To move, even when you're tired. To rebuild, even when you're broken. Because waiting has cost you enough already. It's time to rise, not when it's easy, but because it's hard. If you're ready to stop waiting for motivation and start creating it, subscribe now and join the Shifted Self, a community built for those who move forward, even when it hurts. That heavy feeling in your chest when you look at your to-do list isn't laziness. It's a complex emotional response that we have mislabeled for generations. Society tells you to just get it done, to push through with brute force. But this ignores the deep-seated psychological reasons why we delay. It's not a failure of character. It's a protective mechanism that has gone haywire, an emotional shield against perceived threats. We've been taught to see procrastination as a simple time management issue, a flaw we can correct with a better planner or a new app. But this is like putting a bandage on a broken bone. The real problem lies beneath the surface. It's rooted in fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even the overwhelming weight of perfectionism. It's your mind trying to protect you from potential pain or disappointment. The phrase "do it tired, do it broken, do it anyway" is not a call for self-punishment. It is a declaration of war against this internal resistance. It's an acknowledgement that you won't always feel ready, motivated, or whole. It's permission to show up as you are, imperfections and all, and take action despite the internal voice screaming for you to stop, to wait, to be better first. This isn't about glorifying hustle or burnout. It's about understanding that motivation doesn't precede action. It follows it. The spark isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. By taking that first, difficult step, even when you feel exhausted and fractured, you generate the very energy you thought you lacked. This is the fundamental shift that changes everything in your personal growth journey. So we must first redefine the enemy. It's not your lack of willpower. It's your deeply ingrained, often subconscious fear. Understanding this is the first crucial step toward dismantling its power over you. Once we stop shaming ourselves for procrastinating, we can start asking the right questions. We can begin to explore what we are truly afraid of and why our minds choose avoidance as a strategy. The battle against procrastination begins with honest self-interrogation. What is the specific emotion this task triggers in you? Is it the fear of not being good enough? The anxiety that your best effort will be met with criticism or even worse, indifference? For many of us, the weight of expectation, both from ourselves and from others, is so heavy that it becomes paralyzing. Doing nothing feels safer than doing something imperfectly. This is the core of Do It Broken. It's an acceptance that you don't need to be flawless to begin. If you've ever felt this way, subscribe and join our community of self-shifters. You're not alone in this journey. The desire for perfection is a gilded cage. It promises a perfect outcome, but traps you in a cycle of inaction, because perfect is an impossible standard that can never be met. To identify your root cause, take a moment to visualize the task you're avoiding. Sit with the discomfort. Don't push it away. Is your heart rate increasing? Are you feeling a sense of dread? Name that feeling. Is it inadequacy? Is it the fear of being exposed as a fraud? This isn't just about the task itself. It's about what the outcome of that task represents to your identity. Often, procrastination is a symptom of a deeper narrative you tell yourself. A story that says, if I fail at this, it means I am a failure. Or, if I succeed, the expectations will be even higher, and I won't be able to handle it. These are powerful self-limiting beliefs that thrive in the shadows of inaction. Bringing them into the light is the only way to challenge their validity. By diagnosing the specific fear, you shift from a vague sense of being lazy to having a clear, defined opponent. It's no longer an insurmountable monster, it's a specific anxiety you can address. This clarity is your first weapon. It allows you to separate your self-worth from the outcome of a single task and see the procrastination for what it is: a misguided attempt at self-preservation, not a true reflection of your capabilities. Perfectionism is procrastination's most cunning disguise. It masquerades as a commitment to high standards, a noble pursuit of excellence. But in reality, it is a paralyzing force driven by an all-or-nothing mindset. If the conditions aren't perfect, if the outcome isn't guaranteed to be flawless, then it feels better not to start at all. This is where the feeling of being broken often originates. The perfectionist's brain isn't wired for progress. It's wired for an idealized, unattainable final product. Every step is judged against this impossible standard, creating immense pressure. The fear isn't just of making a mistake. It's the fear that a single mistake invalidates the entire effort. This mindset transforms a simple task into a high-stakes referendum on your worth and competence, making it terrifying to begin. This is why the mantra, "Do it tired," is so revolutionary. It directly challenges the perfectionist's need for ideal conditions. It says you don't need to feel perfectly energized, perfectly inspired, or perfectly prepared. It gives you permission to start from a place of imperfection. Action becomes the goal, not flawlessness. You begin to value the process over the pristine, but imaginary final result. Consider how this manifests. You delay starting a report because you haven't found the perfect opening sentence. You avoid cleaning the house because you don't have time to make it spotless. This isn't about setting high standards. It's about setting impossible ones that serve as a convenient excuse for inaction. It's a self-sabotage loop that keeps you stuck, reinforcing the belief that you're just not capable. The antidote is to intentionally embrace imperfection. To start the report with a messy, rambling paragraph. To clean just one counter in the kitchen. This deliberate act of starting imperfectly breaks the spell of perfectionism. It proves to your brain that progress is possible without ideal conditions. It's the first tangible step in understanding that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to begin. Now that we've unmasked the fear and confronted the illusion of perfectionism, we need a practical tool to break the cycle of inaction. This is where the 2-minute rule becomes your greatest ally. Popularized by author James Clear, the principle is simple. Any new habit or task you're avoiding should take less than 2 minutes to start. It's about lowering the barrier to entry so drastically that it's harder to say no than to say yes. Think about the task that looms over you. You don't have to write the book, you just have to write one sentence. You don't need to run 3 miles, you just need to put on your running shoes. You don't have to clean the entire garage, you just have to put one tool back on the shelf. This is the essence of do it anyway, translated into a tangible, microscopic action. The magic of this rule isn't in the 2 minutes of work itself. The magic is in conquering the inertia. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. Procrastination is the force of rest. The 2-minute rule is the small, almost effortless push required to initiate motion. Once you've started, even in the tiniest way, the psychological resistance begins to crumble. This technique works because it bypasses the fear center of your brain. A 2-minute task is not threatening. It doesn't trigger the same fight-or-flight response that the enormous, complete task does. It feels manageable, even when you are tired, overwhelmed, or feeling broken. It's a psychological trick you play on yourself, a gentle nudge that says, "This is nothing. You can handle this for just 120 seconds. So, identify your most dreaded task right now. What is the 2-minute version of it? What is the single tiny action that could serve as the gateway to getting started? Don't think beyond that initial step. The goal isn't to finish the task. The goal is simply to start. This small victory builds momentum, creating a ripple effect that often carries you much further than you ever expected. The first 2 minutes are the hardest. They are where resistance is at its peak. But once you push through that initial wall, something incredible begins to happen. Momentum. The small act of starting sends a powerful signal to your brain that you are in control, not your fear. This initial victory, no matter how small, releases a small burst of dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with motivation and reward. This is the neurological foundation for overcoming that tired feeling. You aren't summoning energy from a void. You are creating it through action. The feeling of accomplishment from simply putting on your running shoes or opening the document makes the next step, walking out the door or writing the first sentence, feel slightly less daunting. Each successive step becomes easier than the one before it. This process reframes your relationship with the task. It's no longer a monolithic monster, but a series of small, manageable steps. Your focus shifts from the overwhelming finish line to the single step right in front of you. This is crucial for when you feel broken, because it doesn't demand that you feel whole or capable of completing the entire journey. It only asks that you take the next step. Think of it like pushing a heavy car. The initial effort to get it moving is immense. You have to strain against its full, dead weight. But once the wheels begin to turn, even slowly, the effort required to keep it moving decreases significantly. The 2-minute rule is that initial difficult shove. The momentum that follows is the reward for that courage, making continued progress feel almost effortless in comparison. Your goal, then, should not be to find the motivation to finish. Your goal should be to find the discipline to start. Harness the power of the 2-minute rule not just once, but repeatedly. Use it to build a chain of small wins. Each link in that chain fortifies your belief in your own ability to act, slowly transforming your identity from someone who procrastinates to someone who initiates. The feeling of being overwhelmed is a primary driver of procrastination. We look at a huge project, and our brain immediately short-circuits. It sees a mountain, not a path. The key to moving forward is to stop looking at the summit and start breaking the mountain down into small, manageable stones. This process of deconstruction is essential for turning an intimidating task into an achievable one. Take your most daunting task and break it into its smallest possible components. Be ridiculously specific. Write a business proposal is not a task, it's a project. It becomes 1. Research competitor A. 2. Draft the mission statement. 3. Create a budget outline. 4. Design the cover page. Each of these is a concrete action, far less intimidating than the vague, massive project they belong to. This strategy works because it provides clarity and a roadmap. When you don't know where to start, you usually don't start at all. By breaking the task down, you create multiple entry points. You don't have to start with the hardest part. You can pick the easiest, smallest stone to move first. This gives you an immediate sense of progress and control, which, as we've learned, is crucial for building momentum. This is the practical application of do it broken. You might not have the strength to move the whole mountain today, but you can certainly move one stone. It acknowledges your current state, your fatigue, your emotional fractures, and meets you where you are. It doesn't demand that you be a superhero. It just asks that you be a stone mover, focusing on one small piece at a time. Apply this now. Grab a piece of paper and write down the big task you're avoiding. Now break it down into at least 10 smaller, actionable steps. Make them so small they seem almost trivial. This list is no longer a source of dread, it's a menu of options. You have transformed an overwhelming burden into a series of simple choices, empowering you to take that next concrete step. Relying solely on internal motivation is a fragile strategy. Our feelings are fickle. They change with our mood, our energy levels, and the stresses of the day. To truly commit to action, especially when we feel tired or broken, we need to create systems of external accountability. This means building structures outside of ourselves that pull us forward, even when our internal drive is low. This is about designing an environment for success. One of the most powerful forms of accountability is a deadline, but not a vague, self-imposed deadline like "I'll finish it next week." It needs to be specific and, ideally, have a real consequence. This could mean telling a friend or colleague, "I will send you the first draft of my proposal by Friday at 5 p.m. The simple act of making a promise to someone else dramatically increases the likelihood you'll follow through. Another strategy is to use an accountability partner. This is someone you check in with regularly to report your progress. The key is to choose someone who will be supportive, but also won't let you off the hook easily. Knowing you have to report back, whether you succeeded or not, creates a positive social pressure that can be a powerful motivator to get things done when you'd rather do anything else. Technology can also serve as an accountability system. Use apps that block distracting websites for a set period. Set calendar reminders that are not just notifications but specific action prompts like, "Spend 15 minutes working on the project budget now." These external cues remove the need to make a decision in the moment, automating the process of getting started and reducing the friction between intention and action. By creating these external structures, you are acknowledging your own human fallibility. You are admitting that willpower alone is not enough. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strategic intelligence. You are building a scaffold around your goals, ensuring that even on the days you feel you might crumble, there is a support system in place to hold you up and keep you moving forward. Our brains are fundamentally wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Procrastination is often the act of choosing the immediate pleasure of avoidance over the delayed gratification of accomplishment. To counteract this, we can strategically pair the completion of a difficult task with an immediate, tangible reward. This hijacks our brain's reward system and makes the work itself more appealing. The key is to make the reward proportional and immediate. If you successfully work for a focused 25-minute block, your reward could be 5 minutes of scrolling through social media or listening to your favorite song. For a larger milestone like finishing a chapter of your project, the reward could be watching an episode of your favorite show. The immediacy reinforces the positive connection between the effort and the pleasure. Let me know in the comments what one small step you're committing to today. Your declaration can inspire someone else. This isn't about bribery, it's about behavioral psychology. You are training your brain to associate the once dreaded task with a positive outcome. Over time, this can actually reshape your feelings about the work itself, reducing the initial resistance you feel when you think about starting it. This technique is especially powerful when you have to do it tired. When your energy reserves are low, the promise of a small, enjoyable reward can be the exact push you need to get started. It provides a light at the end of the tunnel, a concrete reason to push through the discomfort. It's a small kindness you offer yourself for showing up even when it's hard. So as you break your large tasks into smaller steps, assign a small reward to each one. Write it down. When I finish drafting these 3 emails, I will make myself a cup of tea. This creates a clear if-then plan that your brain can easily follow. You are no longer just facing a mountain of work. You are navigating a path dotted with small oases of reward. Your environment has a profound and often invisible impact on your ability to act. Procrastination thrives in an environment filled with distractions and friction. If your phone is buzzing on your desk, your email is open in another tab, and the TV is on in the background, you are setting yourself up for failure. Each distraction is an open invitation for your brain to choose an easier, more pleasurable activity. The first step is to create a dedicated space for focused work, even if it's just one corner of a room. This space should be as free from distractions as possible. When you enter this space, it should be a clear signal to your brain that it's time to concentrate. This physical separation helps create a psychological boundary between work and leisure, making it easier to slip into a state of flow. Next, you must actively remove the triggers for your procrastination habits. If you tend to get lost on social media, use an app to block those sites during your work periods. If you get distracted by clutter, take 2 minutes to clear your desk before you begin. This is about reducing the activation energy required to do the right thing and increasing it for the things you want to avoid. This principle extends beyond your physical space to your digital one. Close all unnecessary tabs. Turn off all notifications on your phone and computer. The brief moment of boredom that arises when you hit a difficult point in your task is when you are most vulnerable to distraction. By removing the easy escapes, you force yourself to sit with the problem for a moment longer, which is often all it takes to find a breakthrough. This isn't about creating a joyless, sterile environment. It's about being intentional. When you design your environment to support your goals, you conserve your precious willpower for the task itself, rather than wasting it on constantly fighting off distractions. You are making focus the path of least resistance, which is absolutely critical on the days you need to do it tired, and your internal resolve is already low. We have a deep-seated cultural belief that we must feel motivated before we can act. We wait for a bolt of inspiration, for the right mood to strike. This is one of the most pervasive and damaging myths about productivity and personal growth. We have the equation backward. Motivation is not the cause of action, it is the result of action. It's a consequence, not a prerequisite. Think about the times you forced yourself to go to the gym even when you didn't feel like it. The first 10 minutes were likely a struggle, but then, as your body warmed up and the endorphins kicked in, you started to feel good. You felt energized. You felt motivated to finish the workout. The action of starting created the feeling you were initially waiting for. This is the principle that powers the do-it-anyway mindset. It's a profound acceptance that your feelings cannot be trusted to be your guide. Your feelings will often tell you to stay comfortable, to avoid challenges, to take the easy path. True discipline is the ability to act contrary to your feelings in service of your long-term goals. It's about letting your commitments, not your mood, dictate your actions. Waiting for motivation is a passive act. It puts you at the mercy of chance. Taking action, on the other hand, is an assertive declaration of your own agency. You are telling yourself that you are the one in charge, not your fleeting emotions. Every time you act despite a lack of motivation, you strengthen this muscle of discipline, making it easier to do so the next time. So the next time you hear yourself say, "I just don't feel motivated," recognize that statement for the trap that it is. Reframe it as an opportunity to prove that you don't need motivation to begin. Use the 2-minute rule to take one tiny step. The motivation will meet you there, but it will never show up at the starting line before you do. We've addressed perfectionism as a cause, but now we must embrace its antidote, the philosophy of good enough. This is not an excuse for sloppy or lazy work. It is a strategic decision to prioritize progress over perfection. It is the understanding that a finished, imperfect project is infinitely more valuable than a perfect, unfinished one that exists only in your mind. The pursuit of perfection often leads to nothing. Good enough is the courage to put something out into the world that you know could be better. It's hitting send on that email, submitting that report, or publishing that video, all while acknowledging its flaws. This is incredibly difficult for the perfectionist, as it requires vulnerability. It means exposing your imperfect work to potential judgment. But it is the only path to real growth and accomplishment. This concept is the heart of what it means to do it broken. When you feel broken, your work will likely feel broken too. It won't have the polish or brilliance you're capable of on your best day, and that is okay. The goal is not to produce a masterpiece when you are running on empty. The goal is to keep your promise to yourself, to keep moving forward, to not let your circumstances halt your progress entirely. Think of it as creating a first draft. No writer expects their first draft to be a literary masterpiece. It's understood to be a messy, imperfect foundation upon which they will later build and refine. Adopting a first draft mindset for all your difficult tasks gives you the freedom to start without the pressure of a flawless final product. It allows you to simply get the ideas down. So, give yourself permission for your next task to be a B- effort. Let go of the need for it to be an A+. This deliberate lowering of the stakes can liberate you from the paralysis of high expectations. You can always go back and improve it later, but you can't improve something that doesn't exist. Progress, not perfection, must become your new mantra. The cycle of procrastination is almost always followed by a cycle of intense self-criticism. We delay, and then we berate ourselves for being lazy, undisciplined, or inadequate. This inner critic, however, is not a motivator. It's a demotivator. Shame and guilt do not inspire productive action. They drain our emotional energy, making it even harder to start the next time. It's a vicious, self-perpetuating loop. The way to break this cycle is through self-compassion. This means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a good friend who is struggling. A friend would never tell you that you're worthless for having a hard time. They would offer support and encouragement. You must learn to become that supportive friend to yourself, especially on the days you fail to meet your own expectations. Self-compassion isn't about making excuses or letting yourself off the hook. It's about acknowledging the difficulty of the situation and your own humanity. It's saying, "I'm feeling tired and overwhelmed, and that's why I'm struggling to start." It's understandable. This simple act of validation can diffuse the shame and create the emotional space needed to re-engage with the task from a place of kindness rather than fear. This is a fundamental shift from a mindset of shame to one of curiosity. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you start asking, "What do I need right now to take the next small step?" Maybe you need a 5-minute break. Maybe you need to break the task down even further. Maybe you just need to acknowledge the fear without judgment. This compassionate inquiry is far more productive than self-flagellation. When you practice self-compassion, you build resilience. You learn that a single instance of procrastination does not define you. You can stumble, you can have an unproductive day, and you can still get back on track tomorrow without the heavy baggage of self-loathing. This emotional resilience is the bedrock that allows you to do it broken again and again, knowing that your worth is not tied to your daily output. Ultimately, overcoming procrastination is not just about adopting new tricks or techniques. It is about fundamentally shifting your identity. For years, you may have told yourself a story. "I am a procrastinator." This label becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every time you delay a task, your brain says, "See, this is just who you are." To create lasting change, you must begin to tell yourself a new story. This new story is built on evidence. Every time you use the 2-minute rule, you are casting a vote for a new identity. Every time you break a task down and complete one small part, you are providing proof that you are a person who takes action. These are not just isolated wins. They are the building blocks of a new self-concept. You are not trying to stop being a procrastinator. You are actively becoming an initiator. The mantra, "Do it tired, do it broken, do it anyway," is a declaration of this new identity. It defines you not by how you feel, but by what you do. Your identity is no longer tied to your emotional state or your level of inspiration. It is anchored in the non-negotiable commitment to action. You are the kind of person who shows up, especially when it's difficult. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It requires conscious and consistent effort. You must catch yourself when you fall back into the old narrative and deliberately replace it with the new one. When you procrastinate, instead of saying, "I'm so lazy," try saying, "I am a person who acts, and right now I'm facing some resistance. What small step can I take?" This reframing is powerful. Over time, with enough small wins, the new identity will begin to feel more natural than the old one. The evidence will become overwhelming. You'll look back and realize you've built a consistent habit of taking action, and the procrastinator label no longer fits. You have not just changed your habits, you have transformed your perception of who you are, which is the most profound change of all. The goal is not to one day eliminate procrastination entirely. That is an impossible, perfectionistic standard that will only lead to disappointment. Procrastination is a fundamental part of the human condition. There will always be days when you feel tired, uninspired, or afraid. The goal is not eradication, it is effective management. It is about reducing the frequency and duration of your bouts of inaction. Embrace the idea that this is a lifelong practice, not a problem to be solved once and for all. Some weeks will be better than others. Some projects will be easier to tackle than others. The true measure of your success is not in never falling off the path. It's in how quickly you get back on it. It's about shortening the gap between stumbling and taking the next step forward. This journey is about celebrating small victories. Did you use the 2-minute rule to start a task you were dreading? That is a win. Did you work for 15 focused minutes when you felt you had zero energy? That is a monumental win. You must learn to acknowledge and appreciate these moments of progress, as they are the fuel that will sustain you for the long haul. Look at your growth over months and years, not days and hours. Don't let a single unproductive day erase the progress of a productive week. This is a non-linear path filled with ups and downs. The key is to maintain a forward trajectory over time. The "do it anyway" philosophy is your compass, always pointing you back in the direction of action, regardless of your temporary position. By accepting this as a continuous journey, you release the pressure to be perfect. You can be a work in progress. You can be someone who is committed to growth while still having moments of weakness. You are building a resilient, compassionate, and powerful relationship with yourself, one that is not defined by flawless execution, but by a persistent and courageous commitment to showing up. We've journeyed through the psychology of procrastination, from understanding its roots in fear to wielding practical tools for action. We've learned that it's not about waiting for motivation, but creating it. It's about breaking down mountains into stones, embracing the power of good enough, and building a new identity based on the simple, profound act of starting. This is the core philosophy of the shifted self. The mantra is simple, but not easy. Do it tired, do it broken, do it anyway. This is your permission slip to act without ideal conditions. It's your weapon against the tyranny of perfectionism. It's the promise you make to yourself that your goals are more important than your moods, that your future is more valuable than your temporary comfort. It is your declaration of personal power. The journey doesn't end with this video. It begins with your next choice. Right now, there is a task you've been avoiding, something that feels too big, too scary, or too draining. Your challenge is to apply one thing you've learned today. Just one. Will you use the 2-minute rule? Will you break the task down? Will you tell an accountability partner your plan? This is where the shift happens. Not in the knowing, but in the doing. The gap between the life you have and the life you want is bridged by small, consistent, and courageous actions. It's built in the moments you choose to honor your commitment to yourself, even when every fiber of your being is telling you to wait for a better day. If this message resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And for more content on shifting yourself, make sure you've subscribed and hit the notification bell. Remember, you don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel whole. You just have to be willing to take the first step. Do it now. Do it tired. Do it broken. But do it. This is where your transformation begins. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because growth doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It meets you in motion. If this message awakens something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you're not doing this alone. You're part of the shifted self. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, and keep showing up. Tired, broken, imperfect. Because the shift isn't coming. You are the shift.